Yo DJs, ever crushed a 6-hour set on just Red Bull and regret? Today on Behind the Beats, me and DJ Benitos talk DJ diet, what to eat for energy, focus, and avoiding the post-gig crash. No boring health lectures, just real talk for DJs who live by the booth. Let's feed the vibe.
Turntable spinning, interviews hitting. Catch the rhythm of the stories they spitting. Production gems, stacks in the sheets. The engine that hums, yeah, behind the beats. Behind the beats, storylines unfold. Truths untold, now shining like gold. Voices vibing, keeping it elite. It's the podcast, Behind the Beats. Behind the Beats.
Welcome to Behind the Beats. You know, we've been getting some really great questions from you all about staying healthy in the DJ world. It's tough.
It really is. The lifestyle, it's demanding.
Totally. So we've looked at a bunch of stuff, guides, DJ experiences, you name it. And today we want to get into the nitty-gritty, like why that late-night pizza hit so hard and what you can actually do to feel better.
Absolutely. Give you some real actionable stuff because it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, right? Keeping that energy up for killer sets.
Exactly. So let's just dive right in. A big one we got. Why does pizza at 2 a.m. always ruin your next set? We've all been there, right?
Oh, definitely. It's almost like a DJ tradition at post-gig slayos. But yeah, the next day can be rough.
So rough. Why is that?
Well, the sources, like the Ultimate DJ's Guide, point out something pretty obvious when you think about it. Our bodies have rhythms, right? And eating heavy food, especially like pizza super late, just throws everything off.
Your digestion is basically saying, hey, I thought we were sleeping.
Exactly. It's not ready to process all that fat and carbs. And, after a gig, you're tired. You just want something easy.
Yeah, convenience wins. It's not like you're whipping up a quinoa salad at 3 a.m.
Not usually, no. Pizza's just there. But DJ Deuce talked about this on his podcast, how years of that kind of stuff, what he called trash food, really affected him physically.
Did, yeah. It wasn't just feeling sluggish the next day. It was like a long-term thing.
It accumulates, and you made that great point. You are what you eat, physically and mentally. It impacts your focus, your mood, everything.
That greasy pizza, all those refined carbs and fats, they might feel good for a minute.
A very short
minute. Then comes the crash, the sluggishness, the brain fog. Not what you want before another set.
Definitely not. Okay, so we know what not to do, maybe. Let's flip it. What should you eat before a gig to avoid those energy crashes? That's another huge question we got.
Right, the proactive approach. This is where planning helps, like a lot. The DJ Guide suggests eating a proper meal about 3 to 4 hours before you go on.
3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Gives your body time to actually use the fuel.
Exactly. Digest it properly so you're not feeling heavy or getting indigestion while you're trying to mix.
Makes sense. And it's about the type of food too, right? Not just when you eat it.
Oh, for sure. It's all about macronutrient balance. Guide breaks it down, aiming for maybe 30-50% complex carbs.
Complex carbs, like whole grains, brown rice, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that gives you sustained energy, not a quick spike and crash. Then about 25-30% quality protein.
For muscle support and feeling full.
You got it. Chicken, fish, tofu, lentils, and then 20-30% healthy fats.
Like avocado, nuts. Good for the brain, I guess.
Yep, crucial for focus. You need to be sharp up there.
So like grilled salmon with quinoa and veggies? Or maybe a wrap?
Those are perfect examples from the guide. A turkey and hummus wrap on whole grain, or stir-fried tofu with brown rice. Real food that fuels you properly.
And what about during like really long sets? You can't exactly stop for a salmon dinner.
No. That's where easily digestible snacks come in. The guide suggests stuff like bananas, quick energy, electrolytes, or almonds with dry fruit.
Okay, cool stuff. Rice cakes with almond butter.
That works too. Simple, effective, won't weigh you down.
I remember reading about DJ Alex Nipa having his gig bag with snacks.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Ali avoids the temptation of whatever mystery food is backstage. You control what you eat.
Being prepared is key. Which kind of leads into this next one. Energy drinks. Help or hype. We see them everywhere.
The classic can next to the decks. Well, the consensus from the guide is mostly hype. And that crash, it's real, and it's often worse than you think.
So that temporary buzz isn't worth it.
Generally, no. They're usually packed with caffeine, way too much sometimes, and tons of sugar. You get the spike, sure, but then you plummet.
Right, leaving you feeling even more drained than before. Not ideal mid-set.
Not at all. The guide really warns against overdoing caffeine before a gig and definitely avoiding it during. And sugary drinks are just asking for that blood sugar roller coaster. Even fruit juice can be loaded with sugar.
Okay, so ditch the luminous green stuff. What's a better choice for staying hydrated and energized?
Think natural. Coconut water is great natural electrolyte, super hydrating. Or even just water with a tiny pinch of salt and a squeeze of lemon. Make your own simple sports drink.
Simple, but effective. Hydration seems like a big theme here.
It's fundamental. Dehydration, even mild, hits your energy, your focus, everything. Drink water.
Got it. Okay, let's shift gears to tour life. This is a huge one for so many DJs. How do you eat healthy when all you see is fast food? The struggle is real.
It absolutely is. Constant travel, weird hours, limited options. Fast food becomes the default for so many. The DJ Guide talks about this, and Nicholas Kaminsky shared his story too.
Yeah, his experience really resonated. Gaining weight on tour from fast food, then making that shift, it shows it can be done.
Exactly. And he busted that myth that healthy food is always way more expensive. He pointed out how all those cheap fast food meals actually added up to more than buying groceries, especially if you shop smart, like at Aldi or similar places.
That's a great point. The long-term cost, both financially and health-wise.
Right. And his solution, meal prepping when possible. Make big batches of chili, curry, stir fries, stuff that keeps well, and you can portion out.
That takes planning, though. What if you just can't prep? Stuck in a hotel running between gigs?
That's where the gig bag snacks are crucial again. The guide mentions non-perishables. Nut butter packets, jerky, protein bars if you have a small cooler, Greek yogurt, pre-cut veggies, hummus. Don Jackson Blattner suggests produce plus protein combos, easy.
Keep it simple. Protein and some fruit or veg.
Yeah, keeps you full, gives you nutrients, and stops you from grabbing junk when you're starving.
And the guide even had tips for hotel cooking, right? Using blenders for smoothies, coffee makers for oatmeal.
Getting creative. Using what you have, even grabbing a salad kit from a grocery store, is better than hitting the drive-thru again.
It's about resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Like Steve Aoki having a chef on tour, obviously not realistic for everyone, but it shows the importance some people place on controlling their food environment.
It does. It highlights that making health a priority on the road while challenging is definitely possible with effort and strategy.
Okay, let's tackle this slightly intriguing question. Why do DJs age faster? Is it just the late nights? The stereotype.
Haha. Well, the sources suggest it's more complex than just the late nights, though those are a huge part of it. The Ultimate DJ's Guide really emphasizes how the constant disruption to sleep messes with, well, everything.
Hormones too, right? Affects hunger.
Exactly. Poor sleep cranks up cravings for unhealthy stuff. BJ TLM stressed how vital sleep is for recovery, even though it's so hard to get consistently.
And then there's the stress, the industry pressure, booking gigs, performing.
Yeah.
The Columbus DJ podcast clip touched on that.
Yeah, stress takes a physical toll. It all adds up. Phil Morse's advice was simple, but good. Prioritize sleep in a dark room. Control what you can control about your sleep environment.
Make it as optimal as possible, even if the hours are weird.
Precisely. And we can't ignore the environment itself. The getting healthy. As a digging professional piece mentioned all the free, often unhealthy, food and drinks at gigs, it's easy to overindulge.
The temptation is always there. Alcohol too, that's often part of the scene.
For sure. Phil Morse suggested taking 48 hours off alcohol each week. Give your body a break, let your sleep improve, it makes a difference.
Seems like a lot of little things compound. What about movement? Exercise.
Crucial. Several sources highlight this. It's not just about stamina for DJing, it's for mental clarity, stress relief. Even just stretching or walking regularly helps counteract all the sitting or standing in one spot.
So it's this whole web. Sleep, diet, stress, alcohol, lack of movement.
Yeah.
It's not just the late nights causing that wear and tear.
Exactly. It's the cumulative effect of the entire lifestyle if you're not actively managing it. It requires discipline, as one source put it, making conscious choices for your health.
Which brings us nicely to our last question, a super practical one. What's the one snack every DJ should keep in their gear bag? The emergency backup.
Okay, the ultimate go-to. Considering portability, energy, no mess. The guide strongly suggests single-serve nut butter packets.
Nut butter packets. Okay, I like it. Why those?
Healthy fats, protein, sustained energy, super portable, no refrigeration, no mess. Ticks all the boxes.
Brilliant. Easy to stash, good fuel. Much better than a candy bar when you're suddenly starving.
Absolutely.
Other good ones mentioned are almonds, turkey jerky, maybe homemade energy bites if you're into that. But the nut butter is just so convenient and balanced.
So find your go-to healthy snack and always have it on hand. Simple but effective.
That's the takeaway. Be prepared. Make the healthy choice the easy choice.
Well, this has been really insightful. Hopefully everyone listening got some solid ideas. It really boils down to awareness and planning, doesn't it?
It does. And remembering those small, consistent changes add up, like Don Jackson Blattner's advice. Pay attention to what you're eating. Try mindful eating at a table. Maybe do some fun little challenges to build habits.
Yeah, and don't forget the basics. Drink water. Try to get decent sleep in a dark room. Be mindful. Small steps, big impact.
Totally. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What other health questions do you have about life and music? Let us know. Maybe we can dive into those next time.
Yeah, we'd love that. And maybe think about one small thing, just one you can try this week to fuel yourself better. Thanks for tuning into Behind the Beats.
Turntable spinning, interviews hitting. Catch the rhythm of the stories they spitting. Production gems, stacks in the sheets. The engine that hums, yeah, behind the beats. Behind the beats, storylines unfold. Truths untold, now shining like gold. Voices diving, keeping it elite. It's the podcast, Behind the Beats. Behind the Beats.